Here's a quick synopsis of the difference between using a general transcript MCP server with Claude versus using Sybill's Ask Sybill MCP server with Claude. Now you may wonder, if Claude has access to all the transcripts, how does it really matter? I would just add the prompt, it will look at the right transcripts and get the right data. Let me show you what the difference actually looks like. So I basically had the same prompt. Why do we win or lose against our primary competitors? Do an analysis across the last 60 days of conversations, figure out which competitors have come up how many times and why we are winning or losing against them, what our win rates are, and what objections are coming up that are hard to handle, right? And then says next steps based on that. So it's a pretty involved query about understanding like basically a key business problem of how do we fight against competition. So firstly, I tried this out with the transcript API, and then I tried this out with the kind of the Ask Sybill API. So here's with the transcript approach. So essentially, let's look at what Claude did. So here, just expose Sybill's transcript API to Claude, so it can list conversations, get transcripts, get account level or deal level data, but it can't directly ask questions to Sybill like you can with Ask. Claude figured out, okay, like I need to get to 60 days worth of data. Then it sent a list conversations query, got some result, got some metadata around like which other deals where we fought against like certain competitors. Then it again added a list conversations input to get to some deals where we fought against specific competitors like Gong and so on and so forth. So then it came back with like a couple of deals where we have fought against some of those competitors. Great. Then it started asking for specific transcripts. So it asked for a transcript in one of those deals, got the entire transcript data over here, and then again asked for more transcripts, and then asked for more transcripts, and then finally synthesized that into a report, and then created this document. Obviously, Claude is really good at creating documents, so it created a pretty looking document. But if you look at it, essentially in the analysis, it only looked at 3 transcripts and then kind of based on that. So from the metadata, it figured out how many times you run into each competitor. And then from individual transcripts, it figured out the deep types. But as you can imagine, if you're only looking at 3 transcripts, that's not comprehensive enough. If you look at the customer codes that it's using to substantiate its claims, it's only looking at one call with sales intel, one with zeros, and then again with the same customers, essentially. And then based on that, it created a document which goes surface level on like win-loss patterns, recommended next steps. Some of this information is even just wrong, essentially, because it didn't have the entire analysis, and Glean is not even a primary competitor of ours. And so just because it found it in one of the transcripts, it kind of put that out there. Now, if I look at basically the same prompt, literally the same prompt that I posted, but now it had access to Ask Sybill MCP server, you can see its approach changed slightly. First of all, it figured out, okay, like what tools it has and how it can use it. And then it used Ask Sybill. So the first time it actually asked Sybill, hey, tell me like which competitors do we run into most often? And then what are some customer codes around it? It got some win-loss specifics. Then it asked back-to-back like 6 Ask Sybill queries. Then it went into specific accounts. Tell me the account name, which competitor, whether we won or lost, what the deciding factor was. It got a report back from Sybill, figured out, okay, cool, these are what the deciding factors are. Then it went deeper and said, hey, going specific into objections, like what objections are we handling poorly, what are we handling well? And again, it got a report back from Sybill. Then the next thing it asked for was like going into specific close-won, close-loss reasons, and then a rep-by-rep analysis on the deals, which it had not asked for earlier. Again, got a report from Sybill. Then it asked, like specific non-primary competitors. So apart from Gong, so Firefly's Attention, Microsoft, Copilot, and so on. And then finally, it kind of asked for close-won deals from the last 60 days where a competitor was displaced to add to its report. So as you can see, it did much more detailed queries. In many of these reports, it got analysis from Sybill from like 100 or even 500 conversations. And then based on that, it created this report. Here, it didn't just look at metadata or just a handful of transcripts. It actually looked at all the reports Sybill sent it, which could include up to hundreds of conversations at once. Actually looked at 120 deals in total, overall win rates, losses involving competitor, and then one by one got into each of those competitors. As you can see, now it's going much more detailed, why we win displacement patterns, and it's giving specific deals, how we win against them, what are the common winning themes. It gave quotes not just from 2 companies, but from many of them, Zeros, Modus Planning, Crux. And then here you can see Cargo Sprint, Door Loop, Explorium. So lots more companies, lots more detailed patterns, and actual data on which reps are able to sell against certain competitors versus which reps are not. What are the win-loss analysis, top performers, what are they doing differently? Hardest objections, again, it goes more into detail of like, okay, what's like, first of all, it finds the right objections. And then secondly, it goes into like, what are the best counters? What are the worst counters for each of those objections, customer codes around it, and so on. So it's a much more actionable, much more powerful report that's able to generate because it's actually leveraging Sybill's context graph via Ask Sybill and not just manually invoking a couple of transcripts, reading them, and then just generalizing from them.